You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Well, g'day, legends. My name's Jeff Ross. I'm your host for today's podcast episode. Dad of three wild, amazing boys living down here in Tasmania, Australia, also known as the caffeinated kangaroo in human form, of course. I'm the founder of the Laptop Lifestyle Dad Show, and this podcast is for freedom seeker online entrepreneurs, affiliate dads and mums, and anyone who's ready to rewrite the 9 to 5 grind. And leverage tools like AI and social selling and community building to be able to help you to build a business by design so you can live your life. Today's guest is a powerhouse. He's a man of faith, a freedom builder, and a fitness entrepreneur who's flipping the script on what success really looks like. Johnny Els is the founder of TrueFit. He went from burnout to breakthrough and now leads a movement that fuses faith, fitness, and freedom. And he's using AI, content, social media to scale his mission and to go to the world and beyond. So let's dive in. So, g'day, Johnny. It's great to connect with you here today. Thank you very much for saying yes to jumping on and being a guest. Brother, let's take us right back to the moment you knew something had to change. What was the shift that sparked TrueFit?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jeff, for having me on the show. It's a pleasure. Yeah, I mean, so I've been an athlete pretty much my entire life. I swam in college. I coached the Texas A&M triathlon team, and it wasn't really until then when I really found a passion for just helping other people, just kind of learn more about how they can take care of their bodies and fuel themselves properly, so that they can actually reach any kind of goal that they may have. Now, back when I was in college, I was training with some hardcore triathletes at the time. But once I graduated, I moved and I became a certified personal trainer. And the first thing that I realized when it came to helping people is there's not a lot of confident information out there to where people will follow and actually reach their goals in a healthy and sustainable way. I feel like there's a lot of misinformation. There's so much information on the internet that people get overwhelmed and they just don't know what's the right thing for them,
Yeah.
or if it's even going to work long term or not. So when I started coaching people, I set out on a mission to just help people in the best way that I know possible. But I think where it all started for me is when I was going through, middle school and high school sports. I was not Personally, I was not really educated a ton on what nutrition does for your body and how you can, use that to help you feel better and help you perform better and just kind of help you grow into a much better human. And so when I started helping people out, I figured or I just learned that was a big issue that a lot of people were running into, and we're just not informed, right?
Ah.
And so that's kind of what sparked the whole thing. I created TrueFit because I wanted people to truly understand their body type, how metabolism works, how certain food groups support your body in a way to where, I mean, you can live the most incredible, energized, confident, motivating lifestyle just by doing the right things.
I want to talk a bit about that. So, talk about the discipline, really, of doing the right things, right? And there seems to be there's a real huge difference between being formed versus informed. There's a lot of noise out there on the internet. There's a lot of information, right? We can all go get informed until the cows come home.
Right.
But the difference between actually taking that knowledge and applying it to help us to become formed, what are some of the things that you see out there to help people to do just that?
It's a really good question. I feel like there are so many different types of people out there with different schedules, different restrictions, different jobs, family, lifestyle, environment. There's so many things that kind of come into play with how you end up living your life. And
Mm.
so I feel like the biggest thing that's helped out a lot of people is just understanding what's going to work best for you, right?
Yeah, I love
Because
that.
what's going to work best for you, Jeff, might not work best for me, and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
Because we have different lives, we have different goals, and that's the problem with a lot of the big corporations who sell to millions of people. Is this is kind of a very basic cookie cutter program. Yes, it will work if you follow it, but sometimes people have restrictions, people aren't able to do certain things, and so it doesn't really match what you need specifically, right? And
It's
so I just
fascinating. Sorry, it's
yeah,
fascinating you say that because I see a lot of thought leaders, experts in their world today, and it seems to be a big shift that I'm noticing that, we're trying to get away from trying to fit everybody into a box and looking that, my normal is not your normal and vice versa. That
right.
whole concept of normal, around society is what is normal at the end of the day.
Yeah,
And it's not necessarily when you're working with, a student or a coach or whatever. It's been able to have the fundamentals, the experience of the wisdom, to be able to go to the individual and meet them where they're at, and almost go, hey, maybe for you it's not an either or conversation, it's an and conversation. Are you finding that as well?
yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like whenever I work with somebody, I have to learn everything about their life and their schedule and what they like and dislike. Because that way, when you start building something that's going to work good for you, you need to know exactly what it is, right?
Right.
And it could be a multiple of different things. Um, in my life, I've gone through a lot of trial and error with what works and what doesn't work. Sometimes it takes months to figure out if something works. Doing cardio before versus after weights, or having protein before or after workouts. There's definitely a lot of different theories out there about what works and what doesn't work. But I mean, it's 2025. I mean, we've pretty much nailed it down to what's gonna work, what's not gonna work, but it's also just about finding something that you're comfortable with, right? Because if
Yeah.
you let's say, if you sign up for a 75 hard, I mean, you go through it, it's gonna be brutal. You'll most likely hit the results that you want, but then once the challenge is over, now what, right? It's
Yeah,
kinda
yeah,
like you
exactly. Now what? It's like almost like going to a Tony Robbins weekend, um, and getting all of the mind candy, if you will, for the weekend, getting blown away, and then you go back to your everyday normal,
you
and
go
then
back to your normal
now
routine.
what, right?
Yeah,
How do you continue that? And that's what I'm talking about. This difference between becoming formed versus informed, and the ones that I see that are forming or been formed are people who have done the discipline, who have done the 10,000 hours, have got the trial by error, the wisdom to fail forward fast, all of that, right?
right.
That. So
Yeah.
so let's move on to talk a little bit about business, because thank you very much for just letting us get to know who you are a little bit and
Yeah, of
seeing a
course.
bit more of your heart. But you've built more than a brand around TrueFit. Like, what I can see is you're building a movement. So how is using, tools like today, as well, AI and, social selling and, with social media, how's that changed the way that you grow TrueFit today?
It's crazy because, I mean, I grew up in the '90s, so, with TikTok out nowadays
I know, right?
and, ads literally being everywhere, it's just I feel like it is hard to understand what's gonna work, what doesn't work. I mean, algorithms are constantly changing as well with social media, so, again, a lot of it's trial and error just to kinda see what's gonna go viral, what's not gonna go viral, but I need to go back to my roots because the whole reason I started TrueFit was to help people, right?
Yeah, of
I mean, yeah, I grow this business because I want to make money for sure.
course.
But
It's a byproduct.
yeah, but the whole goal is to help people live a healthier and better life. So especially with Facebook, with Instagram, even with TikTok, I give out a lot of just helpful information. People, things that I think people are really gonna wanna try out, valuable information, things that are gonna make sense. Because if I can make that connection with somebody and they trust me and they try something that gave, like I gave some sort of tip and they tried it out and it worked,
Yeah,
right? Well, that just makes them even more motivating to keep on going, right? Which is the whole
that's
reason
it.
why I'm here.
Yeah, I
So
love that. It's coming back to that mission, right?
right. Right, and so at first, it was about helping people. Then as I started growing on Instagram and on Facebook, getting a lot of different clients, I actually had to up my prices at some point because there are so many people who were wanting to work with me. Um, I kinda changed my message to being more inspirational at that time, right? Posted a lot of shirtless photos on Instagram, showing up a lot of transformations on Facebook, and although people like seeing that type of stuff, it's not about just being inspirational, right? Uh, in my case, I really again, I love working one-on-one with people, and I just found out that I get better results when I work one-on-one with people
Yeah.
because then I am fully engaged and I know everything about them, and I'm actually able to help them on their level, right?
Yeah, and as a coach in my own right, I can totally connect with that. I teach people
Yeah,
how to find their voice and how to elevate their voice, on social media. And I do group coaching as well versus one on one. And I think the difference is, and I'll ask you, what do you think the difference is? I think it's the intimacy. Is that right? Like because you're more intimate, more connected, you can
yeah.
get a bigger result. Yeah, bigger impact.
Definitely. Like I'll run free seminars in my Facebook group and I'll give out promotions and things like that, which works out, sometimes. It's always fun to help out people on a massive scale.
Mm,
But again, it is hard. If I'm selling a 30-day program to help you lose 10 pounds by following two rules, for example, these two rules, I mean, you pay $100 for the whole month, but it's not personal, right? Yeah, these 2
yeah,
rules will definitely help you out, lose weight, and feel better,
yeah,
but I can tell you right now, if you did something that's a little bit more customized to the individual, um, 1, you can charge more, but 2, you just see way better results.
yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
it's the two key words that jump out through this whole conversation, even if we go right back to the beginning, is that intimacy and connection that helps you to do what you do best, but also to help the see the person, help them feel valued, seen, heard, and known to help them get the best result, right?
definitely. It's almost like hiring a therapist in a way, right?
Mm.
Now, in no way am I a therapist at all, but mindset is a huge part of this, right? And
Of
it's about
course.
finding someone who you trust, who you can rely on, right?
Yeah.
Who you can be completely open with, because that way they know you, they understand where you're coming from. They're not going to make
That's
you
it.
feel like crap if you do something wrong or anything like that.
Yeah.
Uh, and I've been like that my entire life, just getting to know people on a personal level.
Well, you read every personal development book out there, and the crux of it all is think, do, have, right? So
Right.
it doesn't matter what we're doing. There's a lot of mindset stuff there that needs to be tackled first on to be able to have the think, do, have. So, mate, you personally, got an amazing mission ahead of you. I love that to be able to help us to really tap into our health because our health is wealth. Without it, we don't really have anything, and
Definitely.
it helps us to thrive in life. And I'm on my journey. I'm 130 kilos. I'm probably 30 kilos overweight, but I've got my own stories and all that, all my own excuses that I've been holding on to and losing that baggage. But I'm on my journey. I'm drinking now, 3 liters of water a day. I'm eating right, and I'm losing weight, and I'm feeling much more alive because of it.
Yeah.
So I want to come back to the business and the marketing side of things. So first off, are you leveraging AI, and if so, how are you using it to lighten the load with deepening your message to create a stronger connection with your audience?
Well, so I'm still looking to getting AI integrated into my system in terms of like booking calls for me and finding ideal clients and things like that. Where I have found um, AI very, very helpful is when it comes to locating my ideal client,
Yeah, right.
right? Finding and also figuring out specifically what their pain points are.
Yeah,
Right? Because people who have, different incomes, different lives in different places of the world, one kid versus five kids. There's a lot of different demographics that go into finding at least my ideal client who one is, actually willing to invest in their health, but two also, can show that they're committed to it, right?
Yeah,
It's really hard working with people who are kind of half-assing their way through things because, I'm here to help you and I want you to receive the highest value you can. So you need to be putting in the work.
yeah.
But um, just finding the right people, knowing what they're into, where they hang out, what their goals are in life, and just also knowing how to speak directly to their pain points because that's the biggest point about all of this is understanding emotionally where they are, what they're struggling with, and then in 6 months' time or 5 years' time, where they want to be, how they want to feel, like what kind of
Right.
role model do they want to be, right?
Well,
Um,
we're all walking, talking skin bags full of human emotion, right? So we need to learn how to really tap into that emotion. And
oh yeah,
I love how you're using AI to help you to go deeper into the research of it all, to understand your audience deeper in that space. That's a brilliant way to be leveraging it, because
right,
I see, there seems to be this, once again, a bit of a divide, us versus them. There are people who are using it, to ways to look for as a replacement, and then there are people who are looking at ways to use it for an extension.
right.
I'm more for it's AI plus your heart equals your superpower, right? It's an extension of what we do. So, how do you balance heart-led service, meeting people where they're at to be able to help them get the best version of themselves with smart systems and funnels and automation of today's world?
I mean, I love using AI to get like some really good ideas in terms of like what to post on Facebook, what to post on Instagram, how to hook people in, like what the next steps are that they, for them in terms of like landing a client. Um, but when it comes to, direct messaging somebody or hopping on calls with people, I do that by myself 100% all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, if I'm looking to invest in a software, I don't want some robot trying to sell me, right?
Yeah, I love that.
Like, I wanna talk to a human being. I wanna ask, like, real questions, and I wanna hear the human behind the answer as well, right?
Yeah, that's it. And there's a lot
Yeah.
of because of AI, is a lot of noise out there, and more content than ever. And I love that you wanted, that human connection, right? Because that's where I feel is a bit of a void that's opening up. And those of us who can really tap in and high tech and high human touch are the ones that are going to win,
Right.
in that space. So how do you see the future of, marketing for our businesses unfolding in this space in the next 5 years to come?
Man, dude, AI has already grown so much, and it's been out for maybe, like, what, a year and a half, maybe? It's just wild, and there are so many different things that people can do. People are starting to use AI to create systems for them so that they can find new clients. It just goes on and on and on, which is wild, and I feel like do I'm not doing a good job of keeping up with all of the new stuff. It's difficult, but, um, I mean, I can see AI like writing emails, writing Facebook posts, responding to people who have questions, booking calls for me, doing automatic text messages for accountability. Like there are so many different things that you can do, but again, I'm kinda old school. It takes the human out of everything, right?
Mm.
Like, I wanna be able to connect with my clients. I wanna be able to understand them, ask questions, and listen to what they have to say. That way I can respond in a way that is gonna allow them to trust me.
That's it. And that's I'm glad that you brought that up, because that word trust, I believe that, the world that we have today, trust is at an all-time low. People are starving for trust, starving for connection. The way AI has helped me to support me in that space is by understanding buying psychology and understanding, neuroscience. Like, I mean, I'm a high school dropout. I didn't go to university to learn all this, but because I've got that knowledge base now, I can go deeper in that space and create content and speak directly more to my audience's heart. That's just one way where that partnership has come together, and that marriage, if you will, is serving in this space. I love, and so,
Yeah.
if we can look to ways to embrace it, to help us to support on how to build trust, not take trust away, I think that's the question that we all need to be asking ourselves, right?
Oh, yeah. because I can't tell you how many times I've posted a question in a Facebook group, and most of the comments were, "This is a computer," or "This is a
Yeah,
bot,"
ChatGPT. Yeah, yeah,
or whatever. And even though it 100% is not, it's just me posting a question. People are already starting to see like some trends on social media about how people are trying to get people to comment or sign up for something. And in my opinion, sometimes it becomes too like icky. It becomes like salesy almost.
yeah. They're trying to
Like just
game the
trying to
system.
mass sell to people or mass get emails or phone numbers. Like it works sometimes, but I'm just more about those personal connections. Like I want to make sure that if you're gonna hire someone like me to solve this big problem that you have,
Yeah.
like it needs to be a guarantee. Like I am going to solve this problem for you.
Yeah, yeah. Once again, glad you brought that up because it is. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel salesy and icky, and you know, I've been in this game for 16 years. I've seen just about nearly every evolution from SEO to e-commerce to the whole way,
Oh
and
yeah.
and now we got AI in our space in the last 3 years. And the key difference for me is if it's making me feel like you're trying to automate things just for the sake of getting the sale, you've lost me, in that space. But if you're using it in a way to help me feel more seen, heard, valued, known, and loved, if you want, connected, then great. That's the where we need to go down that path, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Cool. So man, you've built a life, with TrueFit here, and you built some freedom into your life around that. So what does the laptop lifestyle actually look like for you now?
Like my day to day, typically.
Yeah.
Well, so it's actually kind of cool. I'm definitely a morning person. My wife is not a morning person, so um, on the days she works from home, I typically get up much earlier than her, which is kind of nice. But then some days she goes into the office, just depending on what she's going on with work. Um, but I get up early. I pray. I read a devotional from some of the many books that I have over here. I like reading a chapter between Pitch Anything, Persuasion, just to kind of get my business mind activated a little bit as well. And then I put in a solid maybe 2 hours of work, just either posting content, responding to people, posting help, posting free guides, connecting with people on LinkedIn about my podcast, which is a pretty cool thing that I've started recently. Um, just really try to put 2 hours of really good work in the morning. That way, whenever I go make breakfast, if I go to the gym later that day, I actually feel really good about the work that I put in.
Accomplished. Yeah.
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 So I'll make a healthy breakfast. I'll go to the gym. I'll walk a little bit, come back. We got a dog, so I'm walking him 5 times a day. um, But and then I usually try to save my one-to-one coaching calls or any kind of potential client calls for the afternoon because most people either have work or they have kids. So most of the time they can connect after around 4 p.m. So around 4 to 6, I kind of leave open for coaching calls and things like that too. So it's a full day. I mean,
Yeah.
I take some time off to maybe watch an episode of something or go to the gym or spend some time with my dog or something. But um, it's funny, ever since I became an entrepreneur, it's like I don't really have work hours anymore. I'm working all the time now.
Yeah.
People
I
will
just
message me at 9:30 at night saying, "Hey, I saw your stuff. Can I book a call with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
Uh-huh.
tomorrow. Let's do
Uh-huh.
it tomorrow." But
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yep. Let's just park that. I just had a really good conversation with a new client of mine. She's just come out of a pretty high-end corporate job in the entertainment and book space, and she's
Okay.
shifty into this entrepreneurial space and starting her own thing. And the comment I said is, "How are you finding it?" And she said, "Look, I love the freedom that I've got, but it's really hard to, get motivated to work from home sometimes, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
you got to create that. What I love about your day to day, and I'm glad that I asked that question, is you've got structure. You've got your big rocks in first, and you're fitting in the sand around it, and you've got that structure. And that's what we need, right? Because as entrepreneurs, we don't have a time clock where we clock on and clock off. We don't have the
Right.
systems already built out for us, and the boundaries that are there. We've got to create that ourselves. And
Right.
if you're listening to this interview and you're just going through that transition from whatever it is, 9 to 5 to this lifestyle, just know that yes, there's freedom in it, but you've got to be disciplined in there and obedient to the structure to get where you
Yeah.
need to be, right? I've had to go through that my journey myself. And so I really wanted to highlight that. Thank you very much for bringing that up. So,
Yeah, of
mate,
course.
just a quick open mic. So, if you had one word of wisdom to be able to share with our audience, what would that be?
One word or like a
Oh,
phrase?
a phrase, yeah, something to say,
Um,
something to say.
I've been asked this question on other podcasts before, and I love this quote, so I'm gonna just say it again. It's a quote by Michael Phelps, and he says, "It's what you do in the dark that puts you in the light."
Yeah, I love that. Yeah,
So, and I find that in my own personal health and fitness journey. I see that in my business, in my relationship with my wife, with my family. Like, if you want a certain outcome, you gotta put time and effort into focusing on that outcome, even if it means you're taking time away from what you wanna do.
yeah,
And
love that.
I know it stings, but if whatever this is that you want for yourself in the future,
Got to get focused, right?
better health, more money, more better relationships, whatever, we gotta get focused.
Yeah, and I love acronyms, and focus for me stands for follow one course until successful. Like, just let's just get going. Like, let's
I
focus.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's do a little bit of rapid fire here. Let's wrap this up. So just quickly, just answer the questions that come to top of the mind, and we'll go fast
Okay.
here. So, what is your go-to tool for staying in shape mentally?
Swimming,
Swimming. I love
but
that.
not a lot of people can swim, so walking for sure.
Walking. Yeah, get out there
Yeah,
and get
I'm a
moved. Get
becoming
moving.
swimmer, so I love swimming. It's kind of my peace. It's almost like my yoga, but, for people who don't know how to just swim laps, go on a long nature walk. It
Yeah, I
would
love
clear
that.
your mind. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's one AA tool that you're in love with right now? What's one AA tool that you're using?
But ChatGPT is just so conversational, and you can ask it to ask you questions and focus on this and focus on that, and this is what I want, and ask me questions. So it's very conversational, and it'll kinda give you some really helpful feedback.
Yeah, cool. And a real man is someone who fill in the blank.
Steps up.
Love that. Steps up. Yep, steps up and shines and serves, right? Step up in there and serve in their that leadership, that hero maker. I
You
love
know,
that.
something like this in church a couple of weeks ago. It was a whole 2-week um series about men and how they need to step up, and you need to be
Yeah,
the father figure. You need to provide for your family. You need to be in shape. You need to take care of your mindset. Like,
yeah,
your family and your business depends on you. So you got to step up and take care of yourself.
yeah. But I love that. And for me, it's step up and serve. It's not
Right.
to be served, it's to be of service. And
Yeah,
you've got to look at every area of your life in ways that you can serve, because then that's when you get that space, then that's when everything starts to fall in. I love that.
definitely.
Cool. So I'll ask the question, and I'll put you on the spot here, but if you don't, it's all right, I've got you. What's the worst dad joke you've ever told?
This is from SpongeBob. This is a joke I've had in my mind a long time. Why couldn't the kid go see the pirate movie?
Don't know.
It
What's
was
that?
rated R.
I love it. Cool. Well, mine,
That's
mine
silly.
is what do you call a cow with two legs? Lean beef, of course.
Liam.
Uh, well, Johnny, this
That's
has
good.
been absolute magic today. Thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate you. Your story is a reminder that when purpose meets process, anything is possible. And for the legends listening, if you want to follow TrueFit and you want to connect with Johnny, where's the best place that they connect with you, Johnny?
Instagram and my website, both of it is TrueFit Academy. You guys go check it out. You go check out go check out my book. I've written that. I'm getting it published right now, but you can get it off my website. Book a call with me off of Instagram, just so I can get to learn who you are, and we can chat and just see if this will be a good fit or not.
Yeah, brilliant. And do the intimacy. Go through and ask Johnny the hard questions, because I'm sure he'll come back and he'll love that. So, champion, what would you say to the dad, especially who's stuck in the grind and needs to make that first step out in faith into fitness and freedom?
Get some structure. If you're a businessman, you have structure in your business. If you are a stay-at-home dad, I'm sure you have structure with your kids. Pick up, drop off, meals, shopping, whatever. If you need help with your health and fitness, get some structure. Figure
Yeah,
out what you need to do in the morning versus the evening. Uh, You got to incorporate some resistance training, weightlifting. If you don't have time for any of that, you need to start walking because motion is lotion, is what my wife's Pilates instructor said.
I love
Um,
that.
Motion is lotion. Yeah, keep
Yeah.
everything loose, keep it energized. But you got to take time. You got to commit.
Yeah, and I love that structure. That's a awesome word of wisdom. So, guys, that's boom sauce for this episode. That's another Laptop Lifestyle Dad Show episode done and dusted. Thank you, Johnny, for showing up and being our amazing guest. And legends, if this has hit home, I want you to tag Johnny as well and me and share what landed for you. But also, freedom isn't a dream. As Johnny just said, it takes structure and it takes a plan. A goal without a plan is just a dream. And we need the plan, the roadmap to get where we need to be. And we also need to understand what it is, what Sucksville looks like, where we're escaping, what we're moving from. So let's
Right.
build on it one rep at a time, one post, one conversation at a time, and let's go. Thank you very much for your time, legends. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for
Thanks,
now.
Jeff.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.